Hey, what's going on, ladies? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. So, in this audio, I wanted to talk about how men don't like women who are a challenge. All right, so a lot of times you hear people say, oh, men love a challenge, and men love, when it's a challenge for them to get women. That is not true, okay? Men don't like a challenge. See, the only type of guys where it seems like they may like a challenge are guys who basically have too much time on their hands. So that means they're not really doing that much in their life, or guys who just want to feed their ego. So they want to feel like they got you, they won. Like, oh, I got this girl who was playing hard to get. Right? But see, what you got to understand is this is that a guy who's actually doing something, a guy who has stuff to do, a guy who really has his shit together doesn't have time for a woman who's a challenge. And what you got to understand is that a challenge is synonymous with being difficult in a man's eyes. So when you're saying, oh, guys like a challenge, you're basically saying guys like women who are difficult, which they don't. See, men who actually got things going on, men who are about stuff, they like when things flow and things are progressing in a certain direction. It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, this guy, he wants to get married, next week or whatever. But what it means is that if a guy meets you, he talks to you, he exchanges numbers with you, he calls you up to set up a date. You guys go on a date, you get to know each other, like it's flowing in a direction. Like it's not where he gets your number, he calls you, you don't return his call for like 2 days, and then you do return his call or his text or whatever, and then he's like, let's get together, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure, and you're giving him this runaround. Like, he's not gonna like that. See, the only guys that are gonna like that are guys who don't have anything to do because they have the time to play those games. See, let's say I was dating you and I'm dating another woman, right, at the same time. And you're a challenge and the other woman isn't. And I like both of you. I'm attracted to both of you. I'm attracted to you. I'm attracted to the other woman. But you're the one being a challenge and the other woman isn't. So now I'm most likely getting to know the other woman more than I'm getting to know you, because since you're being a challenge, I'm not getting to know you in any type of way, because there's this runaround, there's this challenge, there's this thing that's going on where I'm not really getting anything going with you. Now, on the flip side, I'm getting to know this other woman. We get together, we hang out, I start to like her more than you because I'm being able to make things flow with her because she's not being a challenge, right? And so the thing is that I'm more likely going to want to be with her or even get with her, or she could end up being my girlfriend because she's being more receptive to me. But if you're the one being a challenge, then I'm going to probably end up losing interest because you're being a challenge. See, women have, they've been getting this ridiculous information, for so long about, oh yeah, men love a challenge, be a challenge, do this, do that, and give them the runaround and play hard to get and all this other stuff. And it's not really getting you anywhere. Right? And so what you have to understand is that it's not that men, they don't like a challenge. What men like is basically women they like, right? And they like women they like who are available. So men like women that they like who are available. So what does that mean? That means that, like in the example I was given earlier, if you're a challenge and this other girl isn't a challenge, right? I like both of you. I'm attracted to both of you, but one girl is available and one girl isn't. You're the girl who's not available, the other girl is, because she's not being a challenge. You understand? So the thing is is that a guy, he's going to gravitate more to the woman who is not a challenge. See, the only reason why it seems like, certain women will get a guy if she's playing hard to get and all this other stuff is because, like I was saying earlier, is that the guy who has a lot of time on his hands, or the guy who, he likes the game playing because it sort of feeds his ego to get with you, these guys already were trying to get with you for, reasons that they actually liked you, or there was something about it that made them want to get with you anyway. You understand? It wasn't necessarily just the challenges, only probably just with the ego guy. The ego guy, he wanted to get with you because of the challenge, but the guy who had a lot of time on his hands, he would have still got with you anyway because he liked you. You understand? But he has a lot of time on his hands. So what happens is that, he's able to have the time to play the games, right? The guy who's trying to feed his ego, he probably still actually would have got with you because he probably liked you or whatever. But the ego thing is the only thing that's keeping him playing the game or the challenge to get you so that he can feed his ego. So it's, without the challenge, you could have still gotten those two guys and other guys, right? But what the challenge does is that it eliminates other men who you would probably want more than the guy who has nothing going on and the other guy who's just the ego guy, right? So when you're not being a challenge, it opens up your options more to guys who are the real type of guys you really want. Those guys who actually got stuff going on. Those guys who bring something to the table. But guys like that don't have time for a challenge. It's really simple. If you are looking for a guy who, let's say if you want to get married, you want to be in a committed relationship, you want a boyfriend, whatever it is, and you're looking for a guy who has his shit together, a guy who is a protector, provider, that type of dude, he ain't got time to be playing games. You understand? It's really that simple. He does not have the time to play games with you. And he does not like that challenge. So you got to get out of this, men love a challenge nonsense, because it's not doing anything for you, but driving the type of guys you really want away.